Now, if that music does not bring back your childhood, well, you're annoyingly young, is all I can say, she said at the age of 49. Grange Hill, yep, that's the theme tune to Grange Hill, if you were racking your brains, is 40 years old this week. Yeah, makes me feel old as well. Now, it was an absolute staple for every British child, our afternoon viewing. For nearly 30 years it went on. But, of course, those of us who watched the very first episode, and it gave us a taste of what secondary school might be like, and frankly, rather terrifying it was too. We will remember the golden years, and the golden years featured certainly some actors who we'll all remember to this day. Not least the man who's sitting in the studio with me, I'm delighted to say, Lee MacDonald, who played Zammo in Grange Hill from 1982 to 1987.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. I have to say, we've never met before. I went out to shake his hand. I went, no, I'm giving you a hug. It's Zammo. It's Zammo. It is extraordinary, isn't it, how much Grange Hill sort of caught everyone's imagination and how big it was. I mean, for people who now have, rolling channels of children's TV and cartoons and things, try and explain really just how huge Grange Hill was at the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's viewing figures of around the 15 million mark, so that sort of says
for a children's TV show
program. And I think at the time when it started in 78, there was only ITV, BBC One and BBC Two, 3 channels, which is mad. And I remember running home to watch Tucker in it when I was in it. I remember running home. It was a talking point at school, and then
Todd McCarthy,
because he was my icon. He's like them years were unbelievable. And then to get the part to be in it, and one of my scenes with Tucker, I was like, I'll run to school next day. Not that I was in Grange Hill, that Tucker had nicked my Mars bar in I was like, it was amazing, so unbelievable.
Well, we see now, young people becoming stars, X Factor, whatever. Were you, when you went back to your school the next day after you'd been in Grange Hill, what was the reaction like from your classmates?
It was unbelievable. I remember I went with school, we went to the Imperial War Museum when I was a lot younger, and I got chased. This doesn't happen now. I got chased by a girls' school around the museum, and the security said, look, your lad's going to have to leave the museum because he's causing too much trouble.
Wow.
So we would get chased down the street. It was unbelievable. It was. You were
huge. But again, this is the thing. You should say only 3 channels. There was a blue. I was a Blue Peter. I love my Blue Peter, but Grange Hill was it as well. And again, that music is iconic. The characters are iconic. And earlier on in the show, I had a bit of fun saying, because I saw you were on GMB earlier with one of your fellow actors, Roland. And I said, if I say this word, does this mean Roland? And that's just so. And he still gets that. People shout that.
Yeah,
to him
he does. Yeah, all the time.
Roland. There was another little girl who used to go Roland all the time.
Because she was really young. I think she was only 9 when she did it, and she read the script as Roland, and it just stuck. So if we're out, people shout to him Roland, and then shout just say no to me. So it's and it's still now get recognised all the time of that era, and it's got such a people.
I recognised you straight away. You're so
getting
distinctive.
old now. I'm 50 this
We're all
year.
getting old. We're all getting old. But this is the thing. We've grown up with the Grange Hill stars, and of course, some went on to be on EastEnders.
Yes.
Quite a lot of people. But you've carried on acting.
Yeah, I had a break for a little while. I got a son and family and stuff now, and I got a locksmith. But I just got back into it.
You became a locksmith?
Yes, I've got and then
people still scream running after you?
Well, I had to stop doing the outside work. So I did recently went round to a lady's house, changed her locks at 10 in the morning. I was still there at 3 in the afternoon chatting about, and I thought, this is not going to work for money, really. I've just got Cherry, my agent. I just finished film with by Don Bridges, 2 Pigeons. I'm in the current McDonald's advert.
Yeah,
that's not a big thing. And we got a sitcom coming up, hopefully in a couple of months. So yeah, it's
still keeping
the
work
nice,
going.
Yeah. And
did it change your life in the sense of being in Grange, or has it been sort of a real boon to life that people recognise just to want to meet you, or is there an element where that's still the sort of it's hanging around you? Something you did when you were a teenager is still hanging over you.
That's mad you say, because it was when I left Grange Hill. I wanted to box. I had a car accident, couldn't box anymore. But I thought I'll try the acting. But every audition I turned up for, I'd walk in, there'd be Zammo. So it sort of put a downer on that. And then through my 20s, I was like, I'm really fed up with Zammo, the character. Then we did the reunion in 2005, and because of social media, I've got a new love for it, and the affection for it. I mean, we went to the White House to see Nancy Reagan. We sang at the Yankee Stadium. We had the number 5 record in the chart. So now I look at it and I think, wow, what we did was amazing. Yeah,
but that's the thing. It's to be so much a part of an entire generation of a country's childhood. I mean, my child, absolutely. I could remember whole plot reference. But I tell you what, also you terrified a nation of children. I can remember watching it, just in my last couple of years of primary school, and being absolutely petrified about going to secondary school because everyone was so horrible to each other.
Yeah, it is. And there's that. And we watch it. I've got two kids now, and they watch them, but I won't let them watch the drug storyline.
Really?
And they're 10. So years ago, that kids of 6 and 7 watching that. So it must have been really hard hitting for them.
And it was quite shocking at the time to sort of, because life, it was all a bit sort of Disney-ish,
yes,
isn't it? All sort of, everything was all lovely and wonderful.
Yep.
And this was showing the seamier side, the rough side, perhaps some of the grim reality of ordinary kids' lives who did, because I suppose we'd always see these American TV shows, hadn't we? Where, mum and dad and everything's happy, these huge big houses and everything's all perfect and wonderful and everything works out all right. And actually, sometimes these were kids having a really rotten time. The parents were rotten to them. The teachers sometimes weren't fair, accepting that teachers weren't perfect, and kids were bullying. And you say the drug. I mean, it was the first time we actually had a little toast of, well, this is what life might be like for a lot of kids.
Absolutely. It was mentioned in the Commons as well about trying to get rid of it because it did have such an influence. And looking back, there were some really meaty storylines. And at that time, 5 o'clock or whatever in the evening was really hard hitting for kids.
Yeah, and again, there was nothing else. I think we had 45 minutes of children's TV.
It was really bizarre.
Do you know what? We were outdoors. We were outdoors.
It was.
But how did it impact on your life? We've heard so much about, child stars, and I think especially if you're a big Hollywood star, your life is different because you're living in that mad world. You sort of were still able to go to school.
Yeah, I mean, I went to school and Grange Hill. And Grange Hill was unbelievable because I was getting paid to do it without doing any schoolwork.
Yeah.
So it was really good. But my parents every year would review my schoolwork at my secondary school, and if it had fell below par, then they were going to pull me out.
So you knew that was the
So
school.
I knew that I had to keep up. So
Good
I did
parents.
extra lessons, and my mum was really good. In the end, she became a chaperone because she wanted to keep an eye on me. So as long as my schoolwork didn't fall behind, I come out with 6 O-levels, and so it wasn't too bad, but it can be. And I think we all knew with Grange Hill, we knew when we come to the sixth form, we were going to be leaving anyway. As sad as it is, it's coming to an end.
And that's different, isn't it? Because if it's a family story, these child stars will say things like a big American hit series, Modern Family, which my daughter's obsessed with. They'll just carry on and carry on.
Yes.
They could, in theory, have a career there forever. But
and then that's harder hitting because when you're finished from that, you don't know you were going to finish. You're just written out. Whereas we knew it was all coming to an end when we got to 16.
You've got to make a plan.
Yeah.
So what's going to be happening with this 40th anniversary then?
We've got a few events coming up. We're all chatting through Facebook and Twitter, and I think there's a couple of big events coming up. So we're all getting together, and some of these people I haven't seen for 40 odd years. So it's really amazing. We all get on really, really well.
It's a school reunion. You're
Yes,
basically
it is.
having a school reunion.
Yeah.
It's just your alternative on air reunion.
It's mad. It is. And seeing Erkin again, it's like
Roland,
yeah. We meet and we giggle and we bounce off each other as if we were in the show. It's unbelievable.
But I always wondered actually how much you were playing roles, because I have to say you seem remarkably similar to the character you played of Zammo.
Yeah, I don't think
Rachel, you got the twinkle, you got the cheeky.
I think that's what it is. When you're that age, until I did the drug storyline by Anthony Minghella, you just portray your own personality by reading the lines, and I was quite lucky. Mine was a cheeky chappie, and I just sort of did that.
You had a good fun character.
Oh, it was brilliant fun.
You were
really
always
good
getting
fun.
into trouble. Were you actually like that as a kid?
Actually,
I think we can guess from that
There's
answer.
a few stories at the BBC that we did do some. One of the toilets got flooded in the BBC, and there was stuff thrown out of the window. So that was a bit. And I think we was filming with the young ones at that time. We used to bang on their door and run away, and I think they complained about us. But as mischievous then as I am now, really.
We've had so many kids adults who've had fame in their childhood and they sort of regret it. I mean, we've had people suddenly being exploited. We've had people turn to drugs and we've had depression and things. Doesn't seem to have done you any harm at all. Seems to me you've had a really positive experience.
I'm really lucky from it, and it kept me grounded. That my parents were kept me grounded. Just enjoyed it, and looking back on it now, and it was a good grounding for me. I really enjoyed it.
Did it pay well? I imagine at the BBC it probably didn't. I mean, even though you had sort of 15 million people watching.
It did at that time.
You were able to put some money away for the future.
I remember, my mum always remembered this. I used to go to Anna Scher's and I'd get a cheque every Friday, a little brown envelope that you would pick up, which would be your wages. And a neighbour knocked at my door and said, I think Lee's dropped this. It was a £750 cheque.
1980s.
And this is
wow.
and that was one cheque for but you're so oblivious. It was just sort of my parents put it away, and fortunately they looked after the money for me, because you can spend it. And
they didn't go and spend it all on a yacht and keep it from you.
No, bless them. They put it all away for me and give me. And I bought a property when I was a bit older.
I mean, that's fantastic. Isn't it? And the thing is, how what we really want to know is, can we ever bring Grange Hill? But I think the time's moved on from a modern Grange Hill. Wouldn't be shocking to any of us now.
Yes.
But there has been some talk about sort of getting all of the episodes from word go up on something like Netflix.
Oh, that would be amazing. As I say, my kids try and watch it on DVDs or bits that I've sent, but I think it needs to be rerun from the beginning all through to the end of our one.
And see the children from as youngsters as they go on.
Absolutely. And realise how about, I mean, some of the language and the name calling is horrendous. I watched the scene the other day, and I'm not even going to mention it because it was like, wow.
How much things have changed in the playground.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. There was big racist issues. There's pregnancy. There's been the drugs. So it would be good to show it. If they could, I'd love to see it. And I'm sure it would hit another generation as well.
I'd love my daughter to see it. I absolutely loved it. Do you know what? I grew up with you. So thank you, Zammo. Honestly, not Zammo. He's not. He is. He looks just like Zammo, Ray. It's just Zammo sitting in front of me. It's been such a pleasure. Lee MacDonald, thank you very much. Good luck with the rest of your acting career.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Absolutely, it's such a pleasure to meet you. I'm genuinely, I am 9 years old again. There's no question at all. It's amazing. 40 years ago today, or this week, Grange Hill started. And well, it's been a long era, but bring it back to Netflix, people. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.